Repetition and consistency are the keys to growth in anything you want to succeed in. Growth rarely happens when you're constantly changing up your process, the gear you're using, your ideas. It's all about consistency. I am always looking for a way to make consistent photography easy. The Sony A7 IV is a camera I just recently picked up after a 2-year-long dance with Fuji. The X-T4 with the pancake lens really elevated my photography because I absolutely took that thing everywhere. The grocery store, nights out with friends, long bathroom sessions, you name it. I definitely put in the reps with those cameras, but I want to replicate that in the Sony world. I want to take advantage of full frame sensors, low light capability, high dynamic range, a lot more to play with your raw footage and images. Like I just need that in my life, so let's see how we get that done. So the typical convert your big chunky hybrid camera into something a little bit more convenient and everyday carryable consists of a few things. You're gonna want a pancake lens, a strap that's trendy and kind of matches your style so you actually take it places, and you're probably gonna want some ergonomic accessories like a shutter release button or a sick hipster thumb grip or anything you can find on Amazon. I'm foregoing those ergonomic accessories because I'm not a trendy hipster, and honestly, I just think the A7 IV's body feels great in the hand. No accessories needed. But that's just my opinion, and yours could obviously incorrectly differ. My goals were simple. Cheap autofocus lens, somewhere between 24mm and 35mm, daily carryable, not absolutely shit in terms of quality, but a little bit of lens character isn't a deal breaker, and a mildly stylish package because I want to make sure I don't find any excuses to not take this thing everywhere with me. So of course I went to the trusty old B&H site and started filtering out my lens choices based on the features I set. The two options I stumbled upon were the Rokinon or Samyang 24 or 35mm. There is a Tamron 35 f2.8 option, but it's about double the length of the other two lenses, and that's a big no-no for my everyday carryability standard. So I ended up going with the 35mm Rokinon option. Now I chose that for the flexibility options. You can still get decent bokeh if you separate your subject from your background, and you can also get wide angle shots if you just kind of back up a little bit. You'll hear that 35mm is wide enough from the documentary and street community, and I love to echo that when I can. Obviously, wide angle lenses are awesome for the situations you need them in, but a 35 can be wide enough if you just back up. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're in situations where you can't back up, but for the most part, you can. Bit of a tangent, but if you struggle composing your shots in very, very high-paced environments, a prime lens is actually a really good thing to buy because it forces you to learn how to move around, walk, and just get comfortable in those busy situations and knowing what you need to do to get the shot you want, instead of just kind of standing there and going, do I have to cross the street to get this shot? Yeah, go cross the f***ing street. So now that we picked out our lens to go on our A7 IV, the full setup is super simple. We're going with the long weekend 3-liter bag, the A7 IV with the pancake lens, and some extra batteries. That is it. I feel like the best bag size for this hybrid mission is a 2 to 3 liter bag, but there really isn't a wrong answer when it comes to the 10,000 plus choices. Do not overthink this part. Pick a bag that you think matches your style and fits the camera. The goal here is to make you want to take it everywhere. Speaking of taking this everywhere, let's go do that and test it out. So final thoughts. The pros of this package are absolutely impressive in my opinion. I'm a little biased because I set the goals, made the test, and bought all of the answers, but I think I did a pretty good job. It absolutely knocks the affordability and convenience factors out of the park. I don't really think I could find any other replacements for this exact setup. It's super simple and I didn't want to overcomplicate literally anything. The cons. This lens is a little bit on the cheaper side, so you're gonna have the fringing, you're gonna have the chromatic aberration, you're gonna have some vignetting around the edges, especially at f2.8, but it's not a deal breaker. It adds a little bit of character and it really does not ruin your shots. Honestly, for the most part, I don't really notice any of that unless I'm pixel peeping or if I'm shooting in like really challenging scenarios with like f2.8 at like 8 p.m, the sun's down, there's no street lights, and I'm trying to do like a 15th second shutter speed to expose properly. Those are the moments you might see some of the fringing, the vignetting, but outside of that, honestly, dude, it's pretty badass. If you're taking anything away from this video, it's to get creative with whatever camera body you have. It could be an old manual lens that you use for this pancake lens. It could be something from film. It could be a cinema lens. It could just be a cheap Rokinon lens. It doesn't matter as long as it's within your budget, the quality is within your expectations, and you actually take it everywhere. That is the goal. That's the entire goal of this setup. So that's the end of this video. Go out, go to eBay, go thrifting, do whatever you gotta do to get an affordable lens and something that isn't too expensive and too serious that makes you just kind of want to experiment with. That is the only lesson I hope you learned from this. Outside of that, hit the link down below if you would like to see any of my social media. I do sell prints and those are available. You can find that link below as well. And I don't know, if you don't want to do either of those things, that's also cool. Just go out and shoot. That's all you got to promise me, is that you'll go out, have fun, and shoot. That's it.